Hey, does anyone remember ToonTown? The popular social MMO published by Disney back in the early 2000s. It had quite a large community that played it all the way up until its unfortunate shutdown in 2013. The game had a lot of great features and social aspects that drew players to it. It was a great MMO for kids to dive into the online world, as it had a lot of safe community rules that would prevent cyberbullying, at least to an extent. It also had arguably one of the first turn-based combat systems in an MMO. Yeah, if you didn't know, ToonTown Online was essentially one of the first kid-friendly MMORPGs, with the game having an actual progression system for your very own created Toon character. For the decade it was playable, it's often looked back on fondly by players that spent their time with it. For those who didn't know, however, the game lives on in various forms, with this video covering one of the first passionate fan projects. ToonTown Rewritten is a fan project in name, but by all accounts is essentially the spiritual successor to TTO. They've even had convention events bringing real-life players together, something frankly I've never seen for fan servers. ToonTown Rewritten has become known within the community as the fan project that resembles the original ToonTown Online the closest in vision. That means no level skips, no shortcuts, no major changes. The original experience is largely left intact here, with some additional content that was introduced past its close. For those that are familiar with the original, that means unlocking additional attacks called gags in TTO via learning them through quests, the long grind to progress attacks, jelly bean collecting, and other activities that encouraged social aspects to make friends. Of course, some things were changed or introduced to bring the game into a modern feel, but it is very close to ToonTown Online's original experience, for better or worse. As someone who didn't get much of a chance with ToonTown Online back in the day, it's still a very enjoyable experience now in 2023, and there is even some things to look forward to. Let's take a look at how Rewritten keeps the spirit of TTO alive, while also introducing their own spin on how TTO would play if it was still around.
Ashley, what do you think? What character would you want?
I feel like, I don't know.
Recently, back in May, I attended MomoCon in Atlanta, where I was made refamiliarized with ToonTown Rewritten. At the con, they had design documents from the developers, as well as kiosks where you could just sit down and play ToonTown with people. It's quite a different experience to be able to sit and play a fan server and meet other people that are passionate about the game, considering the official ToonTown Online shut down back in 2013. This just goes to show how passionate the developers are about Rewritten and how much of a following it has. ToonTown Rewritten has much of the classic ToonTown Online gameplay with slight adjustments. First off, since this is a completely fan-run passion project, the game is completely free to play. There is literally nothing you can purchase that goes towards any profit for the developers. It is 100% a fan-driven game out of the love for ToonTown. Obviously, the game has to be run this way because of the nature of the IP, but the developers do have a genuine, incredible love for TTO. The game has a pretty snazzy website with tons of information and links. Downloading the game only takes a moment and you'll be in, creating your very own Toon. Character creation is just what you remember from ToonTown Online, with some things removed for copyright purposes. You can create all the races you remember, which include crocodile, deer, dog, cat, horse, mouse, rabbit, duck, monkey, bear, and pig. After you pick your Toon persona, you can choose what color you are and then what clothes you have. Carrying over from the safety features of the original ToonTown, you can then pick a randomized name from the name generator. There is also an option to request a custom name that has to be approved by the developers. Soupy McGugin Slapper seems pretty harmless though, right?
I mean, it's alright, like...
Once you are satisfied with your name in Toon, you can then jump in-game. Since the game is based on an engine that is over 20 years old at this point, it does have some drawbacks. First off, the control scheme isn't the best, but luckily, Rewritten does allow you to change your control scheme, as well as even using a controller to play apparently. Other standard options are here, like changing resolution, game controls, disabling certain alerts, audio, and more. They've integrated additional things like Discord integration and syncing your toon on their websites, which is a pretty neat little option. Rewritten starts you off completing the Toontorial, which is just a quick tutorial that instructs how to play the game. It teaches you combat, questing called tasks in TTO, how to chat, and exploration. It's a really simple tutorial that continues into the Toon task system. The Toon tasks are one of the many gameplay elements you'll become familiarized with in ToonTown. From this point on, you'll be plopped into the central playground, where you can do all of the things you may have done in the original ToonTown, like fish, play minigames on the trolley, or talk to other players. If you are unfamiliar with the original ToonTown, it's best to continue the initial tutorial task you are given so you can unlock the task boards and start progressing your toon. Tasks reward new gags, more health, otherwise known as laugh meter, and other perks like being able to hold more jelly beans or gags. Basically, you want to complete every task you come across on the board list so you can unlock all the upgrades. So yeah, there isn't a traditional leveling system here, you just unlock things that make your toon more powerful. Gags, for instance, grow stronger the more you use them. It takes quite a bit of grinding to get the top level gags though, so prepare to grab a friend and spend quite a bit of time blowing up cogs to upgrade your favorite gags. Speaking of the gags, the different types are tune-up, trap, lure, sound, throw, squirt, and drop. Tune-up is used to heal toons in battle. Traps are used in conjunction with lure gags to cause bonus damage or stun cogs. Sound gags can hit all cogs at once if there are multiples. Throw and squirt gags are your basic attack gags with varying levels of accuracy. Finally, drop is the lowest accuracy gag attack, but deals some of the most damage. Each type of gag also has a speed, which determines which ones are used first. For a kids game in 2003, there was quite a lot of depth and strategy to the combat system. Things like having to plan out specific turns between other players could determine if you won or lost a difficult battle. Imagine getting frustrated at a difficult cog battle on ToonTown because the difficulty was straight Shin Megami Tensei levels. Rewritten also introduced higher difficulty challenges like the cog offices, which are basically just dungeons like in other games. So if you think ToonTown is an easy cakewalk in terms of difficulty, check out some of the higher level challenges. You'd be surprised. Combat isn't the only thing in ToonTown that's fun though. Before I mentioned other activities like fishing. In addition to fishing, there is the trolley where you can play competitive minigames with other players, go-kart racing, mini-golfing, and then the home decoration. Each activity is pretty bare bones, but in its core can still be pretty fun to play. Fishing will have you collecting all different types of fish to get laugh bonuses. Golfing and racing will have similar rewards for completing challenges such as getting holes in one or beating race track records. Your toon's home works similar to any player-owned housing system from other MMORPGs. That's right, ToonTown has a player-owned housing system. Here you can decorate your own house by purchasing furniture and such. There is also gardening that can be done from your house, which helps in combat, as well as having a pet called a doodle that you can teach tricks. There's quite a lot of content to enjoy here, and like I said, it's all completely free. So that's basically Rewritten in a nutshell. It's all the features of the original ToonTown Online with some extras. Recently it was announced that the development team was working on a remaster update that would restore some old graphics and bring the game into a more modern look. There's also a new area revealed called the Clear Coasts, which as far as I know is completely brand new to Rewritten. So while this is technically a private server, the developers are working on brand new content. I can't stress enough how awesome that is compared to other games that were long taken offline. Typically private servers just keep the game alive, but rarely do we see volunteer developers like this be able to introduce brand new content and features. So in the end, I can definitely say I recommend ToonTown Rewritten, especially if you used to play ToonTown Online back in the day. Rewritten at this point has been going steady for almost 10 years now, longer than most private servers. However, there is another server that twists and contorts ToonTown Online even further. Tune into my next video where I'll be covering Corporate Clash, but in the meantime, let me know if you give Rewritten a try in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.